A top trial magistrate is start job the 1 week as president of a social investigation in the largest treat fracas in NHS story. Tens of thousands wish answers following creature contaminated in hepatitis C and HIV of polluted bloodstream means. It is not the lifetime I imaginary, in regulation of ambition, in regulation of ambitions. In 2016, Steve had a tumor remote of his liver disease. Each few months, he and his woman Sue do the 3-hour travel of the Kent shore to a clinic in southward London to verify it hasn't resurfaced. Steve's carcinoma, in year of ill public health, was the outcome of innovative NHS treat intended to convert his lifetime. As a hemophiliac, his bloodstream was lacking the key content necessary to clump correctly. So loved nearly each man in the state in the UK in the 1970s and 80s, he was purified in element 8, an injectable how replaces the lacking coagulation broker. But several UK supplies were imported, and lot of the bloodstream plasma utilized to do element 8 came of top-risk donors loved jail inmates in the US, who sold out their bloodstream for a few dollars a period. They didn't explanation how down there was any hazard of pollution, Steve says. We were vulnerable period, following period, following period. At low 4,689 hemophiliacs love Steve were contaminated in the bloodstream viral infection hepatitis C. About 1,250 were as well injected in which were later named AIDS antibodies or HIV, and had to dwell in the destructive public health ensuing consequences, in the stigmatization and misuse of the period. In the many decades with, at low 2,883 include dead. The contagion modified Steve's lifetime ever. Hepatitis C is a malevolent illness how can get year to get conduct, guideline to persistent tiredness and sickness. Several 65% evolve liver disease illness that does, in lot cases, conduct to cirrhotic and carcinoma. Following his diagnostic Steve and Sue, of Broadstairs in Kent, were said they couldn't go on their loop of echo, and any expect of possessing family. Survivors and their families include been fight difficult for both of answers and reasonable reimbursement for many decades. I wish to try and know how so lot warnings of as previous as the 1950s were neglected, how any by the government can put a little, sensitive portion of their society at such a harsh hazard, Steve says. Or for such accountable, I'd love them to never delight a overnight sleeping always once again for which they did. Sarah Doricott's dad Mike dead in 2015 at the age of fair 47 of liver disease carcinoma related to the hepatitis C he believed he contracted as a adolescent. He found he was taking into account element 8 up usual stomatological surgical. Love lot soft hemophiliacs he could include been purified in older medicine and did not definitely requirement the new element 8 narcotic that inflicted so lot harm. He didn't understand he was patient before many decades after while he was eventually proven for the viral infection. Thou can't though understand how irate it makes us how he should never include acquired the food, says Sarah. It should not include happened to my dad at all. Mike Doricott acquired 2 liver disease transplants to expand his lifetime but the carcinoma refundable every period. Sarah says following his terminus diagnostic he met his regional MP, Public Health Secretariat Jeremy Search, who done lot of promises to my daddy on supporting and reimbursement. Same told how he was departure to kind all out for him and he didn't include to worry about on which was departure to occur to his household yet as far as I'm worried, same's not executed them, she claims. Mr. Search told he was extremely excited by Mike's history, and it was in big portion downward to his strong evidence how I effectively done the instance to Theresa May for a complete social investigation in the fracas of polluted bloodstream. In July 2017, by the government coordinated to a social investigation in the fracas, following year of campaign job by families love the Doricotts. It will see at the reasons so lot dead, by the government answer and if archive and some detailed information were ruined or intentionally coded up many decades back. Polluted bloodstream as well introduced the framework more than immediately via transfusions following birth or operative. He's mind else 35,000 UK patients, all non-hemophiliacs, may include been contaminated in the path. For the at first period, the investigation will as well include the force to consumer demand documents and force by the government and NHS officials to witness by vow. Top trial magistrate Sir Brian Langstaff formally conducted up his position as president the 1 week in the complete investigation, anticipated to begin maybe as previous as following monthly. We requirement to be capable to say the is which happened, the is who to accuse and the is how we can eventually begin driving on for the, says Sarah Doricott. I've undertaken the reins of my dad and wish to do him pride. I wish to tell, affirmative, we include eventually got several judiciary